We all have that one moment, the one we can't forget, the one that changes us forever. Maybe it was a word, a laugh, a betrayal. Maybe it was the day you realized the world wasn't as kind as you thought it was. For Jason, it was the moment they all laughed, the moment she tore him apart without a second thought. But pain doesn't just break people. Sometimes it builds them into something else. And now the world was about to see exactly what he had become. Before we dive into today's story, let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching this video from? We'd love to hear from you. Sometimes the smallest moments can shape a person forever. One cruel laugh, one careless word, and a heart that was once full of hope can turn cold. Jason never believed in revenge, he never even wanted it. But after what happened that day, something inside him changed. He convinced himself that this was it, his chance. He had spent days rehearsing what he'd say, picturing the way she'd smile, maybe even blush, maybe, just maybe, she'd say yes, but Jason never expected what came next. Jason told, hey, Emily. Emily told, oh, hey, what's up? Jason told, I wanted to say that I like you, a lot, and, I wrote this for you. In an instant everything changed. His words, written with trembling hands, became nothing more than a joke. His feelings, laid bare on the page, were turned into entertainment, and worst of all, the whole school was about to witness it. Emily told, Emily, every time I see you, I swear my heart beats faster. You are the light in my darkest days. Oh my God, are you serious? Emily told Jason, seriously? You and me, you're like a charity case. And in that moment, Jason felt something inside him break, something small, something fragile. A part of him, the part that still believed in kindness, in love, in people, was crushed beneath the weight of their laughter. He didn't know it yet, but this wasn't the end of his story. It was just the beginning, because one day, they would all remember his name for a very different reason. They shouldn't have laughed. Shame is a slow poison. It doesn't hit all at once. It seeps in, trickling through the cracks of your mind, drowning you little by little. Jason thought the humiliation would end when he left that hallway, but he was wrong. It had only just begun. Once, he was invisible, just another quiet kid walking the halls. But now he was something worse. He was a joke, and the whole world was laughing. Bro really thought he had a chance. Second-hand embarrassment at an all-time high. She did him a favor, he needed to be humbled. Why do losers always think they can get with girls like Emily? They weren't just mocking what happened, they were mocking him, who he was, as if he had no right to feel, no right to hope, no right to exist. Student 1 told, yo, that's the dude from the video. Student 2, laughing, bro, that confession was tragic. They say time heals all wounds, but Jason wasn't sure if this wound would ever close. How do you heal from something that follows you, that lingers in every glance, every hushed whisper, every quiet snicker when you walk past? That's what they saw him as, right? A joke, a nothing, a waste of space. Something in him snapped that night, but not in the way they wanted, not in the way they expected. Jason didn't want revenge, not at first, but when the world laughs at you, when they push you down and leave you bleeding, you have two choices: stay on the ground or rise so high that they never see you coming. Pain is a teacher. It either breaks you or it rebuilds you into something new. Jason had spent his life being ignored, dismissed, forgotten, but that humiliation, that betrayal, it lit a fire inside him. And fires, they don't just burn, they transform. Jason told never again. The gym. Jason walks in, looking completely out of place. He feels the stares of the regulars, strong, confident guys who don't even acknowledge him, but he doesn't care. He isn't here to be noticed, he's here to work. He had no idea what he was doing at first, no clue how to lift weights, no routine, just determination, and sometimes that's all you need. He failed over and over again, but failure was nothing new to him. It had never been failure that defined him, it was what he did after. Jason, in his room, surrounded by books, psychology, confidence, body language, he reads late into the night, eyes scanning every page, absorbing knowledge. Strength wasn't just physical, it was mental. Jason studied the world that had once broken him. He learned how people thought, how they reacted, how they judged. He learned to see through them, through their words, their actions, their lies. Jason at school, he no longer moves like a ghost. He walks with purpose, his gaze steady. He no longer looks down when people pass, they look at him. A group of students who once laughed at him pause, watching as he walks by. Jason doesn't acknowledge them, he doesn't need to, they notice him now. They say revenge is best served cold, but Jason never wanted revenge, he wanted respect. And now they were starting to give it to him, whether they realized it or not. Jason walks into a coffee shop. The once awkward boy who stuttered now orders with confidence, his voice steady. The barista smiles, subtly intrigued by his presence. Bully one told, "Yo, ain't that the dude from that video? Damn, my guy had the most tragic confession in history." Jason turns, his gaze locking onto the guy. The bully's smirk fades slightly. Jason doesn't flinch, doesn't react, he just stares, calm, composed. The bully shifts uncomfortably. It was strange, the way people changed when they felt power, when they sensed confidence. Jason didn't have to fight, he didn't have to argue, he just had to exist, and they felt it. The bully looks away, muttering, "Whatever, man." Jason smirks slightly and walks past. Jason stands in front of his mirror, dressed in clean, fitted clothes. His posture is strong, his eyes sharp. He looks different. He looks like someone even he doesn't fully recognize. He exhales. Jason told, "It's time." Emily stands in the hallway, scrolling through her phone. Jason walks past her. She looks up. Their eyes meet. A flicker of recognition flashes in her gaze. Emily told, "Hey, do I know you?" Jason told, "Something like that." Time doesn't just change people, it redefines them. The world had forced Jason to transform, to evolve. He had rebuilt himself from the ashes of his humiliation. And now he was no longer chasing recognition, it was chasing him. A cafe on campus, students chat over coffee, lost in their routines. Jason orders his drink, standing at the counter. As he waits, a voice behind him catches his attention. Female voice, curious, casual. "Hey, do I know you?" Jason turns slowly, his eyes meeting hers. Emily, the girl who shattered him, the girl who made him disappear, only for him to return as someone new. She stands there, blinking, studying him with intrigue. Jason keeps his expression unreadable, his smirk barely noticeable. The last time they stood face to face, she had crushed him without a second thought, and now she was looking at him like he was a puzzle she couldn't quite solve. Emily told, "You seem familiar. Have we met before?" Jason told, "Maybe." She didn't recognize him, of course she didn't. The boy she had laughed at was gone, and the man standing in front of her now was someone she would have never dared to mock. Emily leans against the counter, sipping her iced coffee, her gaze flickering over him. Emily told, "So you're just gonna leave me wondering? That's kinda mysterious, don't you think?" Jason told, "Maybe I like a little mystery." Emily told, "Okay, so you're kinda popular, huh? What, are you an athlete or something?" Jason told, "Something like that." Emily leans in slightly, eyes locked onto him. She wants to figure him out. She wants to know him. Jason remains indifferent, letting the tension build. He isn't chasing, he isn't trying, and that makes him even more intriguing to her. It was ironic, really. The same girl who had once dismissed him without a second thought was now trying to get his attention. Emily told, "Okay, I give up. What's your name?" Jason told, "Jason." Emily told Jason, Huh? Well, Jason, maybe I'll see you round? Jason told maybe. Jason walks through campus, sipping his coffee, not looking back. He hears a notification on his phone. A friend request, Emily. He chuckles to himself. She still didn't know, she still had no idea who he really was. And maybe, just maybe, that was the best revenge of all. Power is never given, it is taken. And Jason had learned that the best way to reclaim control wasn't through anger, it wasn't through revenge, it was through a strategy. And so, when Emily reached out, he didn't reject her, he didn't expose her, he simply played the game. Jason pulls out his phone, smirking slightly as he sees her friend request still sitting there. He lets it sit for a few hours before finally accepting it, and just like that, the trap is set. That night, Jason sits at his desk, his lamp casting a warm glow on his notebooks. His phone buzzes, a message, Emily. He lets it sit for a moment before opening it. Emily, texting. Hey, took you long enough to accept, mystery guy. Jason leans back, thinking he could reply immediately. He could flirt back, fall into her rhythm. But no, that would be playing her game. Instead, he lets the message sit for a while, makes her wait, makes her wonder. 30 minutes later, he finally replies. Jason, texting. Didn't realize you were waiting. Simple, controlled, no desperation, no eagerness. Emily replies almost instantly. Emily. Ha, so are you always this hard to figure out, or is this just a special treatment for me? Jason, smirking, replying, You tell me. A bit of silence, then another message from her. She's intrigued, hooked. Emily, texting. Hey, so a bunch of us are going to this cool spot tonight. You should totally come. Jason, pausing, then replying. Maybe, Emily. Pfft, don't play hard to get. Just come, it'll be fun. Jason takes his time before replying. Jason, told, I'll think about it. He lets her sweat, he doesn't confirm, he leaves her wondering, and when he finally shows up, it's on his own terms. She's laughing with her friends, drink in hand, completely unaware. But when she sees him, everything changes. Her posture shifts, her smile widens, she lights up. She had no idea who he was, no idea what she had done to him, and yet here she was, unknowingly trying to impress the very person she once destroyed. Emily makes her way to him, brushing past people without a care. She stops just in front of him, smiling. Emily told, well, look who actually showed up. Jason smirks, taking a sip of his drink, unaffected. He doesn't compliment her, doesn't feed her ego, instead, he flips it. Jason told, didn't realize this was your party. Emily laughs, tucking her hair behind her ear, a small tell Jason immediately picks up on. She's nervous, just a little, because Jason doesn't react like the other guys. He's not predictable, and that's dangerous for her. Emily. Told it's not, but you know, I figured I'd invite you. You looked like the type that could use some fun. Jason told, and you look like the type that always gets what she wants. Emily pauses, caught off guard for just a second, then she laughs, shaking her head. Emily. Told, you're not wrong. She's intrigued, drawn in, but Jason is in control. He doesn't chase, he doesn't give her the validation she's expecting. Instead, he lets her feel that small ounce of uncertainty. Emily told, I like you, Jason. Jason told, you don't even know me. Emily told, I mean, I know enough. Jason told, do you? He watches the shift happen in real time. Emily suddenly wants to prove herself. She wants to convince him, and that's when she had once reduced him to nothing. Now she was trying to earn a place in his world. And the best part, she had no idea. Jason stands, stretching, grabbing his jacket. Emily frowns slightly, confused. Emily. Told leaving already? Jason. Told yeah, got things to do. Emily hesitates. She doesn't want him to go. She wants to say something. ask something, but she doesn't. Jason nods at her once, then turns and walks away. No chase, no validation, no looking back. There's a moment in every game where the player must decide, do they finish it or do they walk away? Jason had spent months rebuilding himself, rising from the ashes of humiliation, and now, as Emily fell further into his orbit, the question wasn't whether he could break her, the question was, did he even want to? He stops outside the cafe where it all started, the same place where she first approached him, not recognizing the boy she had destroyed. The irony isn't lost on him. He checks his phone, a message from Emily. Emily, texting. Hey, so I was thinking, let's do dinner tomorrow, just us, my treat. Jason smirks slightly. The moment has arrived. Then Jason enters. Calm, collected, he moves with quiet confidence, dressed sharply but effortlessly. Heads turn as he walks past. Emily watches him, her breath catching slightly. She doesn't know why she cares so much. She just does. Jason told fancy place. Emily told only the best. Jason nods, studying her, the way she leans in slightly, the way she bites her lip. She's nervous, she wants his approval, and that is the ultimate power shift. Months ago, she wouldn't have spared him a second glance. Now she wanted him to see her, to want her, to choose her, and she had no idea she had already lost. Emily, soft, sincere. I feel like I've known you forever. Jason tilts his head slightly, smirking. Jason, do you? Emily, nodding, leaning in. Yeah, it's crazy, but I feel like we have this connection, like we're meant to be something. Jason watches her, his expression unreadable. Then, slowly, he reaches into his pocket, pulls out something small, something old. He places it on the table between them, a folded, crumpled letter. Emily frowns, glancing at it. At first, she doesn't understand. Then, recognition hits. Her smile falters, her breath catches, the color drains from her face. She knows exactly what it is. It took her a moment to realize the person sitting in front of her wasn't a stranger, he wasn't some mystery, he was the boy she had destroyed. Emily looks up, her eyes wide, horrified. Jason doesn't smirk, he doesn't gloat, he simply leans back, watching her. Process it. Emily, whispering, stunned, Jason? Jason nods slowly. Jason, calm, even. Took you long enough. Emily's hands shake. She opens her mouth to speak, but nothing comes out. The confidence, the control, the flirtation, it's all gone. All that's left is shame. Emily, whispering, panicked. I didn't know. I swear I didn't. Jason, cutting in, firm. You didn't care. Emily flinches. The truth stings. She can't deny it. Not now. Emily, pleading, desperate. I was just a dumb kid, Jason. It wasn't personal. Jason raises an eyebrow. Jason. Wasn't it? Emily looks away, swallowing hard. She knows the answer. For months, Jason had waited for this moment. He had imagined it in 1,000 different ways. But now, sitting across from her, watching her crumble under the weight of her own actions, he realized something. He didn't need revenge, he didn't need to humiliate her. She was already drowning in her own guilt, and that was more satisfying than anything else. Jason, calm, certain. I don't hate you, Emily, I never did, but I want you to remember this moment, the way it feels to be on the other side. Emily's eyes well up. She nods slowly, unable to speak. Jason watches her for a second longer before standing up. Emily, whispering broken, wait. Jason pauses, but he doesn't turn around. Emily, can we start over? Jason lets the silence stretch. He could say yes, he could make her chase him forever, but that's not why he did this. That's not who he is. He exhales, then turns his head slightly, just enough for her to hear his final words. Jason, soft but firm. You had your chance. And with that, he walks away. No anger, no bitterness, just freedom. Emily watches him go, her heart pounding, her mind racing, because for the first time in her life, she lost, and this time there was no fixing it. Revenge is a funny thing. It promises satisfaction, but when the moment finally arrives, all you're left with is silence. Jason had everything he wanted. He had flipped the script, turned the tables, and walked away. But as he moved through the empty streets, he couldn't help but wonder, was it enough? He stops near a park bench, staring out at the skyline. The weight of the past still lingers, but it no longer suffocates him. Instead, it's just there, a scar, a reminder. Jason pulls out his phone, a new message from Emily. He exhales slowly, staring at it for a moment before opening it. Emily, texting, "I'm sorry." Jason smirks slightly. It's funny how two words, so simple, so small, come too late. He locks his phone without replying, shoving it back into his pocket, but the past isn't finished with him yet. His phone buzzes again, another message, this time from an unknown number. Jason frowns, hesitating before opening it. Unknown number. You proved your point, but you don't have to end it like this. Jason freezes, his stomach tightens. This isn't Emily, this is someone else, someone who knows. A flashback, Jason at his lowest, sitting alone in his room, scrolling through endless messages mocking him, his hands shaking, his world collapsing, and then a single message from someone unexpected. Unknown, text from the past. People are cruel, but this moment, it won't last forever, don't let them win. Jason never replied to that message. He never knew who sent it, but it was the only thing that kept him from breaking completely. And now, standing here looking at his phone, he knows it's them and they're watching. He types back. Jason, texting, "Who is this? Unknown." Someone who knows what it's like to be laughed at. Someone who knows that walking away doesn't always mean you're free. Jason exhales, his mind racing. What does that mean? Why now? Who is this person? He stares at the screen, his pulse quickening. Jason stands on the edge of two paths. One, a future where he moves forward, leaves it all behind, starts fresh. The other, a path of control, of power, of becoming someone that nobody can ever laugh at again. He spent so much time breaking free of the past, but what if the past still had its grip on him? What if it never let go? The question was no longer about Emily. It was about him. He had won, but was winning enough? Or did he want something more? Jason looks down at his phone, fingers hovering over the keyboard. A message from Emily still unread. A new message from unknown waiting. Two different doors, two different futures. His thumb moves, scrolling between the two messages. He exhales, closes his eyes, makes his choice. Narrator, whispered, chilling. In the end, Jason's story wasn't about revenge, it was about choice, and sometimes the scariest thing in the world isn't what people do to us, it's what we decide to do next. If you were in Jason's shoes, what would you have done? Would you have walked away, or would you have sought revenge? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss more stories like this. Your support helps us create even more powerful content.